Well, hello, Young and the Restless Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Friday, September the 23rd, 2022. Cliffhanger Friday. It's not really a cliffhanger, but it's Friday. We have, I felt a little bad, and I'll get to that a little bit later. We have Elena walking through her front door. She and Nate share the penthouse across from Devon. Used to be Adam and Chelsea's penthouse. Used to be Victor's penthouse. Goodness, that penthouse makes its rounds, right? Um, and there's candles. There's just, low music. There's wine, whole ambiance. And he has this dinner prepared. And she walks in the door like, what is this? And he just pours on the Nate charm, and she's asked, and she goes, okay, so are you, no, he said, oh yes, he made up with his family. And she smiled, she's happy about that. And she goes, so you're not going to go through with your plan? No, I'm going to go through it, but I need you by my side. None of it means anything without you. I need, see, once he made that statement, I would have been like, okay, then no, let's scrap the plan. Since I mean that much to you, let's scrap that plan, honey, because it's not gonna work. And even if some plans that do work, they shouldn't have been plans in the first place because the devastation that's gonna cause. But Elena goes along with it and getting swooned, and I'm like, well, I'd be doggone. Is that all it took, Elena? With some candles? The name of an expensive dinner? Some wine? And you're okay with this? I was like, oh my goodness, no. Well, now they come back downstairs. Elena's still in her robe. Nate has jeans and his shirt on. So, in my opinion, was always planning to go somewhere, right? Otherwise, he would have came down in boxers and maybe a t-shirt, right? And he comes up. Elena is looking. I think she's looking towards the fireplace, and he comes behind her. And finally, I thought, okay, good. She's not on board. You could see it on her face. She's not on board. And he goes, we didn't hardly get to eat a bite of our dinner. And he says something like, are you hungry? He asked her a question, but she goes, no. Or it means so much to me, you're on board, or something like that. And she says, no. And he's looking like, well, no, no, like, no to what? And she goes, I'm not on board. I cannot I cannot get behind this, Nate. It's wrong. And he goes, but I thought you were coming along. I thought you were, on my side. She goes, no, I better understand where you're coming from and your reasoning, but it's not right. And I can't get behind this. Once again, oh, he flips the switch because remember earlier, I couldn't do this without you. I won't. Oh, he separated himself real quick from her. And she turned and she's just looking at him like, hmm. And he goes, you can't get behind my ideas. You can't do, something for me, what I need. You know, you just like Devon. And then she's like, oh, really? And then he goes, you know what? You and he have more in common than I thought. And Elena's like, huh, okay. This is you. This is the real you. And I'm like, yeah, that's the real him, Elena. It's the real him. You and Devon had a good thing going on, and Nate was the one that engineered the breakup of that. That's the real Nate Hastings. Yeah. So Nate, I'm getting some air. He goes out and he goes to Crimson Light. And there's this actually really pretty woman sitting at the table. And when he walks in, she said, Nate Hastings. And he's looking like Dr. Nate Hastings, she says. He goes, were you a former patient of mine? She goes, no. And she goes, he says, well, then do you have a habit of just memorizing faces and names? And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, for one, you used to be the face of Ask MD. That was really a big success before you turned it over to Elena, you know. So your face was all over the place, Nate. So she says, oh, no, Jill hired her to help her facilitate the IPO. That's what she does. That's her profession. And Nate perks on up and said, hey, well, listen, welcome. And I am here to help give you any information you need on the company and on what's going on. And I'm thinking, you don't know what's going on, Nate. Period. You stormed out of the meeting that they even talked about it. Nate doesn't know anything and is pretending to be the authority. And when he gets back into the office, watch, all he's going to key on is that IPO. That's it. What ideas is Nate going to bring to the table? Except Devon is getting ready to go back out of town to spend some time with Amanda, which I understand taking a couple weeks off, but her mother is in a nursing home. Amanda is not caregiving her mother. So what are you doing? Is she just sitting there in a chair day in, day out, day in, day? I don't understand. See, Amanda could come back to work and take Devon's private jet on the weekends. Spend the whole weekend with her mother, sitting by her mom's side. But to just now abandon your profession, I could see if they had a hospital set up in the house because they have money, right? But I think her mother's still in a coma. So Amanda, that's just interesting that she's just gone that long. And Devon, so anyway, he's going to go back to spend some more time with Amanda, which is going to allow Nate the opportunity to do some damage, right? But what I don't like is Elena should tell Lily. If Devon is not there, Elena should tell Lily because she knows it's wrong. She's not on board. The scenes that they showed for next week, she's going to leave Nate. Well, it's not like, you're in a relationship with, a significant other. They work at this company, this corporation. You're a doctor, she's a doctor. You don't know the people from his company from Adam. You may have gone to a company event with them, maybe, right? But you don't know people. See, even though wrong is wrong, but in this case, what makes it even worse is Elena knows the owners of the company that Nate works for personally. Personally. Lily likes her, she likes Lily. She still loves Devon on some level. They're still very close. You know these people, you have a personal relationship with these people, and guess what? Now you work for these people too. There is a responsibility. You work for Chancellor Winters as well, Elena. So Elena needs to tell, because when it all hits the fan, they're going to know she knew. Actually, the only person that doesn't know, which is surprising to me, Amani doesn't know. Nate never told her his plan because, see, insider trading is against the law. That's why they just made it online. Amani's now back out of town again. And Nate tells her everything. You mean to tell me he did not tell her his big plan to get the input? See, yeah, okay, well, anyway, then we have Chelsea texting Billy to meet her for drinks. When I got that text, are you free for drinks? I thought, well, I don't like that text. No, you don't text me like that at night. Are you free for drinks? And so Lily's like, listen, because it was Billy, Lily, and Devon in the meeting. And she goes, oh, do you have to take that? And he goes, no, it's just tell Chelsea texting. She wants to meet, you know, for Drinks of Society. And Lily's like, maybe she's changed her mind for the podcast. Go. Devon and I need to talk anyway. So he goes, and of course she hasn't changed her mind. My whole thing is stop begging that chick. You don't even know if she could do a good podcast by herself. Chelsea, who said she could? So if she wanted to bring up again telling Johnny. And Billy had some objections, but look, I'm not against telling them. It's just right now is not a good time. Well, it ends up Victoria comes in to pick up her takeout dinner and sees the two of them. It's like, what's going on? What are you guys doing? And they invite her to sit down, and then they spring it on her again, or Chelsea springs it on her again, or Billy may have, I don't know. I wasn't really listening that hard on that. And Victoria's like, oh, so you two decide to ambush me with this. And they're like, no, Billy's like, no, we didn't know you were coming in here. And Chelsea's like, no, that's not my intentions. And Victoria says, okay, so yeah, you're right, you didn't know I was coming in here, so what are you guys doing, making some more secret plans with Johnny? And Chelsea looks, and Billy looks at Victoria. She goes, like, of course Johnny would tell me. He was at the pool with Connor and Connor's mother. No one ever thought to talk to me about it. No one. And Chelsea goes, no, Billy says, look, I just said, let's get the boys together. They were together as cousins. And they had a good time. That's all that was, Victoria. You were out of town. So Chelsea brought up a good point. She says, when is it ever going to really be a good time? She says, these boys know each other. They think they're cousins. Johnny knows me. I'm Connor's mother. At holidays and some family functions, we're all there together. And if I'm not there, Johnny is still there with, during these family functions. Johnny is going to look back at pictures and say, everybody in these pictures knew but me. Everybody knew but me. That who my mother was. And if I'm in the picture, that she was my mother. So she says, now, while he's still young enough, now we should address it so that it doesn't come to that. And so it's funny, Victoria, she realized that Chelsea's right about that. And so she says, okay, but when we tell Johnny, she goes, here's how it's going to go. It's Johnny's choice how much he wants to get to know Connor and you. It is not your choice. Are you prepared that he may want to have nothing to do with you right now? Are you prepared for that? Because it's his choice. And Victoria also said, I want Billy and I to tell Johnny first before you tell Connor, because this affects Johnny the most. And she goes, okay, that's fair. And once Johnny is told, we'll let you know. And we'll also let you know the next move that Johnny wants to make. Can you agree to these terms, Chelsea? Yes, I can. Yes. And I'm thinking, no, she can't. If Johnny doesn't want to see her right now, and it won't be he doesn't want to see her because he's mad. He may just not want to see her because now, wait a minute, that was my mother trying to put sunscreen on me at the pool. It'll just going to take some time for him to digest the information. Chelsea's been nothing but nice to him whenever she's been around him. Okay, so It's not like it's some stranger, and it's not like someone he's had bad experiences with. It's just going to take him some time, right? Chelsea won't accept that. She can't. No, no, no. Let me just speak to him. Let me just let him know that there was situation. No, no, no. We'll see, Chelsea. I can already tell. Yes, that's good for Johnny. I think that is the right move, but Chelsea is still not stable. She's still not stable at all. So then we have Victoria. Before she gets to pick up her dinner or goes to pick up her dinner, she's talking to Victor at the chessboard. She tells him about her plans for chancellor, that they're going public. Nate told her, Nate's been wanting a position at Newman. And well, first she says he's been asking, putting feelers out for a position at Newman. And Victor's like, why is he really willing to leave his family company so fast? Well, things, it's not that smooth. But listen, he told me they're going to go public. And Victor looked, and he's offered himself to be my inside man, feeding me information on the IPO so that we could have the advantage. And then when once we get it, he's going to sell Newman his stock, and then we'll have the majority. So Victor says, okay, that's a dangerous game he's going to be playing, right? And just in case you didn't know, that's called insider trading. And it has some very serious ramifications. And so she goes, yep, but you know what? The greater the risk, the greater the reward. And Victor's like, that could be some serious consequences for him. And in my mind, I'm thinking, no, and Newman. No, there's serious consequences for both. Newman's on the receiving end. And Victoria and Nate are going to be meeting in the park all the time. People can get pictures of, come on now. Right? So Victoria says, you know what? Greater the risk, the greater the reward. And Victor's like, you are, so I think he said, you're ruthless or whatever he called her, just like your father. Let's do it. And I thought, of course, Victor would say, let's do it. Of course. Now, let Adam be selling Newman secrets, and what would he be called? For another company to take over Newman. How dare you? How could you? But it's okay for that to happen to Catherine's company and Neil's family. Yeah. So in my mind, I'm like, you know what? I'm hoping they don't do the whole rehash of the Jabot. Because they love to do that. It's like, you know what? Listen, writers, you all will be able to take like 4 months off, because all we're going to do is pull out the old script from when the insider it happened to Jabot, and let's just half repurpose it and make it now. No, come up with something original. Come up with something new. Let's get a fresh twist on this, really. But we shall see. Sometimes the writing will disappoint you. Then we go to Phyllis. Now this is where I felt bad. We pick up to where Phyllis is inside the party and realizes she didn't get the invite, and she's asking Summer, so this is where you ditched me at the coffee house to come here to this? And Summer says, no, Mom, because Summer and Kyle are on the other side of Phyllis. Summer and Noah is on the other side of Phyllis. Kyle and I had no idea this is what Noah was planning. And Noah's like, no, Phyllis, and so she goes, but I'm the mother of the bride, and I wasn't on the invite list. And so she's pointing, she goes, she's here. And then at that point, Nick walks in off the elevator. He's here. And Summer's kind of looking. So Noah says, no, Phyllis, can you forgive? No, you were always on the list, always on the invite list. Um, and so she goes, oh, but just not the A list, right? And in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, you're right. For one thing, if you had to choose a mother, it should have been the mother of the bride, but there shouldn't have been any choosing of mothers. They both should have been invited at the same time. Summer should have come walking in with her mother, just like Kyle did. This, I was just like, oh, and I actually felt bad for her. And so Jack is standing there. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm not gonna say what I was really thinking because I'm keeping this like soap opera clean, right? This has been your best friend, Jack, for years. For years. You knew how hurt Phyllis was with this. And you, as her friend, with the history you had with her, could not show her any compassion. That Jack Abbott is now on one of my worst lists. Not as bad as Nate, though. Don't get me wrong. But I'm pissed at Jack. Pissed. Because he also knows when Phyllis is like this, she tends to get out of control, right? Now, at Victoria's wedding, Phyllis wasn't out of control like this. She was just feeling left alone. She was, Nick was still rebelling against the wedding. Nick was being Nick, and Phyllis was like, oh my goodness, we just shouldn't have come. And, Jack was taking every opportunity because this is after his great confession of love for her that then he tried to take back after he tells Nick too, and he's just sitting there with her, just consoling her. And this is, come on to the wedding with me, Red. Well, where's your compassion for Red now? So Kyle says, can you forgive me? And Phyllis looks at him and Nick says, Phyllis, forgive my boy. I would have looked at Nick and said, let me tell you something, Nick. I'll forgive him when I feel like forgiving him. Right now, I'm hurt. I am really, really hurt at this. And I'm going to need a moment not to be hurt. Yes, I forgive you, she says. And Noah's like, oh, okay, good. And I'm thinking, oh, so that just erased everything, made it all. No. So Summer goes to Nick and says, look, can you go talk to her? Can you go talk to her? And that's yet something else that did not need to be said, because Nick knows Phyllis. Nick knows this is her daughter. This is a party for her daughter and his daughter. He should have said, how did this happen, Summer? This really shouldn't have happened like this. Phyllis is your mother. See, no. Phyllis was left. So the Nick goes over and says, this is their night. Don't ruin it for them, Phyllis. Instead of truly consoling her, he really didn't. He was there. He was saying, look, just put whatever you have aside, put it aside for tonight. And just let Summer have a good night. Can you do that? And she was like, yeah. But she's still hurt. She's still almost on the verge. She was, crying, but no tears were rolling down. She was sucking tears back in her head. And I was just like, oh my goodness, is she gonna, because Diane was just smirking. Diane was, and Jack he was looking at Diane. He could see it. He could see how her, but Jack did nothing. See, Jack didn't whisper in Diane's ear saying, show some compassion, Diane. Nothing. Didn't say a thing. So needless to say, Phyllis makes a toast. It was like, she wasn't even drunk, but, an emotional, almost crying toast to the bride and groom. Let's have a party. And they all start dancing, turn the music on. And Phyllis is still Phyllis. Um, and then she's either standing alone or sitting alone. Uh, Nick comes back over to her another time and says something to her, but he stuck semi by Phyllis, but not too much showing, being a good friend to Phyllis. He really wasn't being he was just there trying to make sure she didn't get out of hand versus being a friend. And Phyllis could have used a friend because she told him point blank, I'm spinning out of control. I'm spinning out of control. What Nick should have done is says, do you really mean that? And she would have said, yes, yes. Then let's go. Come on. I'm going to take you out. Let's go get some dinner. Let's go do something. That wasn't offered. And then if she would have said, no, but I want to be here for something, okay, then let's have you and I. Let's shut the world out. Let's do this, Phyllis. No, she got none of that. So I felt bad. So Phyllis, Diane is so triumphant. Yeah, Phyllis is miserable. And she gets a text. And the text says, on my way to Genoa City now. And she almost has a heart attack. Jack says, is everything okay? She goes, no, it's just spam. Just spam. And then she's now stepping away from Jack because now she's like, oh my God, no, no, no. And Phyllis is kind of leaning against the wall. And I think that's when Nick came over to her just to talk to her briefly again. And Phyllis is just looking at Diane. Diane's across the room, right? And quite frankly, to me, that set reminds me of the top of the Newman Tower that we've been seeing everybody meet at all summer. I think they just redecorated it, period. And to me, those decorations had way too much going on, Noah. But to me, that's what it looked like. So even though it's the Grand Phoenix, right? So she sees Diane worrying, looking at her phone like, oh, no, no, oh no, what's happening? What's going to go on? Mm-hmm. So she sees Diane just walk off and leave. So Phyllis tells Nick, I think it was Nick, excuse me. And she goes, and now she's following Diane. And I'm thinking, see, Phyllis can't let it go. Diane come up dead again. Guess who's going to be the number one suspect this time? Phyllis. Because she just can't let it go. So, all right, that was the Young and the Restless. Let's go to Comment Corner. Comment Corner. We got some comments. LaShanta says, I can't wait for Diane to show her colors. Yeah, her whole reason is for coming back to town. We could tell it has to do with some kind of master plan. It says Jack is a whole fool. Yes, he is. If Phyllis and Diane can't be in the same room, don't invite either of them. That is so true. And then Libby says that pre-wedding party was weird. In 2 minutes, they got food, drinks, and decorations. And what, 6 people came to the party? Bizarre. So guess what? That's why they could get food, drinks, decorations. He may have already thrown those colored things in there. Ugh. They could have been there because that really didn't say Kyle and Summer to me, and then it says someone really needs to tell Diane, that no one is under any obligation to like her because she supposedly changed. Her whining is over the top. She whines to everybody. When she knew, I'm willing to take all the shots that come at me to prove myself. No, you're not. You're willing to cry. And then Deedles says, I'm so sick of Diane running to Jack every time something upsetting happens between her and Phyllis. And then there are those times where, oh, Jack, I need your advice. Also, you're right about Diane. She's getting up in everyone's face trying to force them to accept her new version. I think that Allie and Noah the possibility of an unwanted baby story that you were talking about. Frankly, I would love to see a knockdown drag out fight between Diane and Phyllis. I would too. So my money's on Phyllis. Mine is too. And then Libby answers Ditos. I love her conversations. Like I told you, these are what I used to have, the kind of conversations she used to have with her mom. Did you know our host used to watch General Hospital with her grandmother? Yes, I did. Way back in the 60s. Yes, I did. I even remember black and white General Hospital. There is gray up under here, folks. And then we have, oh, we don't know our host name, but so touched to read the section about this channel. Oh, read about it in the section of this channel. Okay, I'm going to say my first name since this comes up, and it comes up. My name is Sheila. That is my name. Okay, I choose not to use my name. I don't want to be the focus of my recaps. I mean, as in who I am and what I do. But I'm going to just put this out right now so people listening to today's episode will get it. I am a leader in a network marketing company. Okay. I have a large team, about 2,500 people. I do not mix business with my entertainment. This is my fun. This is my entertainment. I love having, soap operas are my fun. They're my relaxation. I don't watch a lot of other TV because I'm busy, especially when you're handling a large team. Like case in point, after this recap, in about an hour, I have a big webinar that I'm presenting. I'm a webinar presenter. I do a lot. I don't mix it. I don't want it mixed. That's why I will keep my name out of it, because I'm the daily recap lady here. The people on my team don't know I'm daily recap lady. That this is my entertainment, okay? But I love being able to connect with people that have the same hobby that I have. And the hobby are my soaps. It's my General Hospital and it's my Young and the Restless. So definitely, Libby, I love talking to these soaps with you, Deedles, and all of the other commenters that comment on this channel. It's like sometimes we could get our popcorn and talk about what's happening. So there you have it. And I did not know Paramount was going to be dropping The Young and the Restless. I watch it on Paramount Plus. I have cable, but see, I'm busy. During the day where I live, I'm on the Pacific Coast. Young and the Restless comes on at 12:30. No. 11:30. 11:30 to 12:30. I don't watch TV during the day. Okay, so I have an Apple box, an Apple TV. You can't DVR Apple TV, which is crazy. You can't DVR Apple TV, right? So I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm going to do. Actually, I think I can use my CBS app. I'll figure that out. Because what I like about Paramount are no commercials. If I watch it on my CBS app from my cable, because I can go back on demand, they're commercials. But you know what? Either way, the show will go on with the daily recaps, everybody. So now we have Dito's response to Libby. If you only knew how touched I am for what you wrote. I have tears in my eyes. Wow, don't get me teary eyes, girls. Don't get me teary eyes. Tears in my eyes as I dictate this message to you. I think Dito's and Libby are related. Cousins or sisters? Ladies, let me know. Cousins or sisters? Because I think Libby invited Deedles to the channel. So give us some history on YouTube. I'm not going to watch General Hospital. It has been too long and you wouldn't be able to follow it. Let me tell you a hidden secret about soap operas. They don't ever move that far. It could be years. And when you start rewatching it, you come in where you're at and you just move forward. Seriously, come in where you're at and move forward. And we will do trivia and got to get caught up, on the rest. And yeah, YouTube, you can see a lot on YouTube. It's just sometimes when you see full episodes on YouTube, like I said, there are people recording their TV or recording on devices that they have to distort it, they have to slow it up. The voices sound like they're in, sucked in, inhaled some balloon in helium. And then we have, let's see, Robin. Robin says, should have invited both moms at the same time. I'm with you, Robin. I'm so tired of these moms to save trouble. Let them go for good. Yeah, no more chances. Well, I kind of think just for us, I would like to see the one more chance to see where that, look, we need to see where that last chance is going to leave, right? Because something's going to happen with this last chance. And LaShanta says, I'm mad how they treated Phyllis. Me too. Phyllis is gonna come for you, Diane. The smirk on Diane's face. She was goading her. And then Libby says, LaShanta, it sounds like you're definitely in the Phyllis fan club. I'm in the Phyllis fan club. If I have to think of any woman on The Young and the Restless that I like the character the most, it's Phyllis's character. Phyllis is her own worst enemy, but Phyllis is hilarious in her own way. I mean, her reactions, her facial. Now, this Diane storyline is making her extra over the top, way extra. But I really, really like Phyllis, the actress that plays Phyllis. And when she came to the General Hospital for that small stunt and played Nina Reeves, I liked her on General Hospital too. I really, really did. So that is it for Comment Corner. That is it for Comment Corner. We will be back on Monday to see what is going to happen. Because, yeah, Diane opens up the door in the scenes and she's startled and she's shocked and she goes, what are you doing in here? So perhaps the mail arrived in Genoa City and we shall see. We shall see. But the way soaps usually have it, they're not going to reveal his identity for some time. But this is probably the guy in the Bentley, I'm thinking, or one of his minions or something. The guy has enough clout to get an editor, of a magazine to stop an article. So we'll see what's going to happen. Everyone have a phenomenal weekend, and I'll be back on Monday.